The goal is for your kids to be working for their kids. That's the goal. Point blank. The goal is for your kids to be working for their kids. That's always been the goal. Now here we have over 200 plus people involved in cheating on the SAT exams to get into prominent colleges and universities. First, I want to say that if they have charged or are investigating over 200 people, including 2 Hollywood actresses, which one is the mother of the 2 twin boys on Full House that was married to Joey, her. She's one of them. She has 2 daughters that her and her husband paid over $200,000 to get into Southern California University. The girl's dumb as a box of rocks. Both of them. Or you wouldn't have to pay that much money or no money at all to get your child into that university. Some of them even went so far to photoshopping their child onto real athletes to get athletic scholarships. And the people that they was going through were supposed to be state certified SAT examiners. And they have some type of law in some of these states where I guess if your child feel like they can concentrate better with someone outside of the school or around other kids, they can go and take their test with one of these certified examiners. Or they can have one of these people look over the text. And in most cases, and in a lot of the cases, they was either correcting their wrong answers or they was taking the test for them and all. So, from the information that I just provided you with, knowing that we have over 200 people involved in this so far, and we have, without a reasonable doubt, a lot of state certified SAT examiners involved in this as well. We are in our 3rd month of 2019. Do we really believe with over 200 people so far being involved in this that they just started this in the last 3 months? Do we really supposed to believe that they just started this within the last year in 3 months? Or they just started in 2017 or 16 or 15? Are we supposed to really believe that it just started now? You ever worked a job and had some little motherfucking boss, little white boss at your job, dumb as a box of rocks? You trying to figure out how the fuck did they get that supervisor position or that manager position? You just trying to figure out, like, I know way more than this motherfucker. How the fuck is they the supervisor or the manager? They asking you certain things. Soon as they bring the person on, oh, we have this person, they're training to be the supervisor or the manager. Don't know nothing. You got 5 other people in there know way more than they do. Have you ever wondered how this occurred? This is how these type of things occur. When a person pay for their paperwork and then when they get to the job, they don't really know shit. And then they use the other people like us to train them on site. And then next thing you know, once they get familiar with the with what's going on, then they start acting high and mighty. That's when they start, I'll write you up and I'll do that. And now they get to putting their hands on their hips like they Superman and shit. But at first they was humble when they ain't know shit. So you can't trust these motherfuckers. Because remember, the goal is to have your kids working for their kids. Ask yourself something. For all y'all who knew their grandparents and knew where their grandparents worked at when they was working, who did they work for? Who owned the company that they worked for? Now I want you to ask yourself, when your mother and father was working, or if they still working, they ain't retired yet, who did they work for? Who was the owner of the company that they worked for? Now, look at yourself. If you work a job, who do you work for? Now, if every one of those was someone that's not of your people, if every one of those was of Caucasian or white, then what make you think that the goal is not for your child to work for their child? What makes you think that? Your grandparents work for their grandparents. Your parents work for their parents. You work for them. Why wouldn't they want your child to work for their child? And by any means, they would do what they have to do to make it happen. This just didn't start happening in 2019. They've been running this for the longest. Our kids going out there busting their ass, whole schools getting together, programs getting behind them to see what school get the highest SAT scores all around. Somehow these fucking white schools still winning. How is that? It's clear to see that y'all gotta pay to get in college. Y'all dumb as a box of rocks. So this is how y'all getting these highest SAT scores. To take the high SAT score certificate or whatever for that city or state. Majority of y'all paying. They got so many loopholes to make sure their kids are over your kids. It's pathetic. That's all they work on every day. Okay? They main agenda and focus when they wake up is to make sure that they set things into motion where your child is dependent on their child. Period. And then their child is supposed to follow up and do the same thing. That's the goal. They've been cheating and finessing the educational system. Right now, it was just on YouTube where a white teacher was out somewhere and she was calling some black people nigger. And she a teacher. But then she going back and teaching your child history, this and that. And you expect her to go in there with a whole heart and teach your child properly? And she done something like this in a public place, on camera? You got teachers that was involved or are that's involved in this SAT scam that Their kids are involved in the scam that they paid and helped to get their kids and other kids in it, but going back into our schools where our kids at and telling them they ain't good enough. Telling you your son or daughter got a problem. Short attention span and hyperactive, and they need this type of medication. They need to see this type of person. And you believe in them. Not knowing you taking your child out they natural creativity. That's not even their history. Not the way they teaching it. The way that they trying to get our kids to take in information is not the natural way that our kids take in information. It's not the natural way that our kids supposed to take in information. They teaching it the way that their people take in information. Because they study the brain. Remember that. Without a reasonable doubt. Don't never forget. Stay working on your child to have multiple trades or multiple things that they know how to do. Besides just them books. Cut hair, know how to fix cars a little bit, you know your way around the yard, you know how to paint, you know how to put in hardwood floors or something, you know a little bit of electricity work, a little plumbing work. Try to make sure that they know how to cook, clean, organize, because they're so focused on their kids running the corporate, and they have it in such a way that the only way that ours can get there is by almost selling out, basically. So we got to get back to the roots, the barbershops and salons. We got to take back over them stores, them candy stores. We gotta take back control of those resources and things that our community is entertained by, that other groups of people are profiting off of, such as gasoline, such as tobacco, such as lottery, such as alcohol, such as communications. Whenever the last time you went inside a phone store and you seen some black people owned it, or a liquor store, or a place where they sold tobacco, or gasoline, or a lottery. They might have worked in there, but I said own. Once we take them back, then we'll have a strong backbone to stand behind. So we can say, fuck your corporate. We'll stay down here. And then them companies will start coming to you, how they do athletes. They come to them. Hey, here go 85 million. Can you put on our gym shoe? Sure. This common sense approach, man. I'm out.